and welcome back to Otaku No Video. As always, thank you very, very much for joining me. I'm here today with a review of NieA Under 7, a rather unusual anime that was released about a decade ago. It's by the folks who made Serial Experiments Lain, and don't let that bother you. It's quite different from Lain, actually, in a lot of ways. So it's by the producer and character designer of Lain, but they brought in a director who would go on to direct Strawberry Marshmallow, and so he, just as he directed and storyboarded Strawberry Marshmallow, he directed and storyboarded this. This was these folks' break after making Serial Experiments Lain. They wanted something lighthearted and easy and more fun after Lain. They subtitled it a domestic poor animation. It's called NieA Under 7 Domestic Poor Animation. And that's actually a good indication of the overall approach to it in two ways. One is that the main character is a poor girl, and everyone in it basically is poor, which is interesting. I'll get back to that in a bit. But also, this is a low-budgeted anime, all things considered. Now, it doesn't look bad at all. They know how to use their animation budget, but it's definitely, well, yeah, it doesn't look really fantastic or anything. And they're just, they didn't get animators who are great, Naruto fight scene animator types. Very competent, certainly by the standards of the day. Especially because the characters remain very much on model throughout the show. Although it does jump to different artistic styles, somewhat different artistic styles. Like if characters get angry, they get more angular and more simplistic, things like that. But it's not like they suddenly jump to chibi like they do in, say, Magic Knight's Ray Earth. So it definitely works on that score. It also has this relatively bright color palette, more like traditional anime than, say, Lain or Technolize or Book Pop Phantom or other shows like that. Or, say, Bacano. So this has more of that bright anime color palette. The direction is exceedingly efficient. It tells you exactly what you need to know in a way that's entertaining, but doesn't get in the way, which is awesome. Now, I want to talk about the characters a bit. This is a quiet, slice-of-life anime series that's mostly comedy with dribbles of drama throughout. It's about Mayuko, who is a poor college student. Actually, she's not even in college yet. She's between high school and college and cramming for her college entrance exams. And she's poor. She's living on her own. She lives in a rented room above a bathhouse. Before you ask, there is no fan service whatsoever in the show. And she's living hand to mouth. I mean, she's barely managing to make all of her various financial commitments. Worse, she has a freeloader who lives with her, which causes her no end of issues. And the freeloader is an alien. That's one of the interesting things about the show, is that in the timeline of the show, a bunch of aliens crash landed on Earth a couple of years ago, and they're all basically human except they have a little antenna on their head and elf ears. And they've just sort of integrated into society. They all had to find jobs, they all found jobs, and they've integrated into society, and no one really cares. They're just there. So that's interesting. And so NieA is one of these aliens. She's an under 7 alien. And that's part of the weird thing about the story, is that it's this weird slice of life comedy about very real feeling locations and characters. I mean, you don't get sort of over the top anime characters except in a couple of instances. And the locations are made to be, and they're based on real locations, so they feel very real. But it's about this very odd world, but it all feels real. So it's odd they managed to do that. And the thing is, Mayuko has very low self-esteem. She is embarrassed because she is poor, because she is having so much trouble keeping everything going. She has several jobs, plus study, plus cram school, plus everything else. She has this tiny little room, and she feels like she can't keep it together, although she's honestly doing a good job. And everyone around her just loves her. She's this sweet, considerate, hard-working young lady, and everyone just really appreciates and respects her, but she can't get beyond her low self-esteem. And so seeing both things from her perspective and from everyone else's perspective is a wonderful reminder of just sort of that whole psychological issue. So Mayuko has these very strained relationships with basically everyone around her. And that's one of the neat things about the writing in general, is because this has very little action, this is, and basically no romance, this focuses on conversation. It's a very conversation-based anime. And it's also because there's like no plot. And the conversations feel very real. They feel very awkward. Because Mayuko has these awkward relationships with everyone because she feels unworthy. And you feel so bad for them. That's how people are. A lot of people. So it's really quite remarkable that the show manages to have these very simple, everyday small talk kind of conversations which reveal character, reveal backstory, really communicate a lot, but with simple conversation. Unremarkable conversation. That is remarkable. And it's also remarkable in this sort of weird reality where it's very consistent, it feels very real, but it's off to one side in this odd way. I want to mention the voices of the characters, and I need to tell a little story. NieA was, as far as I know, the first TV anime that was also streamed legally by the original broadcaster. So I think a week after each episode aired, the broadcaster put up free legal streams of the anime on their website. And this was a decade ago, so the streams were small and grainy and all that kind of stuff. But that's how I first watched several episodes of NieA, was through those streams. They were raw Japanese, no subtitles, no nothing. And I didn't know any Japanese at that point. So I was just watching this to get a feel for it. I fell in love. Wow, really, really enjoyed this show. But I was really worried when it came over here that I would be unfair to the English voice actors because I had heard about it and fallen in love with it, hearing those Japanese voice actors, and those just would be in my mind. Fortunately, the dub studio, the English dub studio, found perfect dub actors for it. Everyone, fits. No problems with the dub there. If you want to listen to the English dub, you won't have any problems with it. If you like English dubs, whatever. The music also deserves mention because it's all ukulele music. You heard me right. This is not typical anime music. This is all Hawaiian-style ukulele music. Now there's some stuff that's more like the blues, some stuff that's more upbeat. It fits perfectly. I never would have imagined it, but this really is effective music for what this is and what it's trying to do. I was bowled over, frankly. So what do I love about NieA, besides the characters, is the fact that this is a show about the little moments in life, little everyday moments. When I think back on watching NieA, I remember sequences where the characters would climb up onto the roof and have these little conversations, or just have these long silences between them and just think about things. Quiet bits, little conversations on the phone, things that are just very, very normal, but that allow us to process. And I'm very glad that I saw NieA and have it in my life for its reminders about the importance of everyday life. It's very Ghibli-esque in that sense, especially if you've seen some of the non-Hayao Miyazaki stuff like Whisper of the Heart or Only Yesterday, some of those other Studio Ghibli movies. It celebrates normal life and how wonderful that can be in certain times. So, as you can see, I'm a bit of a fan. Yeah, NieA is not for everyone. A lot of goofy comedy, some quiet moments, kind of schizophrenic. And to me, it works. So that's my thoughts. If you've seen it or haven't seen it and want to talk about that or any other anime or manga, please stop by the blog at otakunovideo.net. Shoot me an email at brent@otakunovideo.net or tweet me on Twitter at otakunovideo. Look forward to hearing more from you, and that's it.